For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and I'm talking to the oldies on the show today. Maybe I should speak up. Oh, it's all about aging. Now, I'm in my 40s, and it seems to be the hot topic when people reach a certain age that, you know, they start complaining about aches and pains and, you know, back in my day and all those young whippersnappers. I'm not at that point yet, but I am, you know, kind of having a few observations, some noticeable. And then others I'm kind of realizing when I'm having conversations with other people my age. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, no, I did have something like that, right? Well, anyway, you're going to have a laugh. Whether you're young or old, you know, it's something that's going to be affecting you at some point, right? Aging, we can't stop it. So I'm going to talk about that on this Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here on The Scribble. So, you know, just talking about aging, it's something that, like, it can't be avoided. Right? Like, there's nothing that you can do to stop it. So you can have all the plastic surgery you want. You can, you know, change up your hairstyle. You can dress, you know, in younger clothing. You're still the age that you are. And so I think of our executive producer, Bonnie Winters, who I know how old she is because she's my employee, right? So I have her file. I know how old she is. And also, by the way, I'm the same age as one of her kids. So, you know, she's basically the same age as my mom. And she'll never admit her age, though. Now, it's one of those things where you kind of go and say, your grandmother, we know that your grandson is going to be, oh God, Bonnie, how, well, I mean, he's going to be at least 18 because I remember when he was born. That's how long I've known Bonnie and how long we've worked together. So, just you think of that kind of math and go, okay, wait a second. Like, I'm 43 and so is her son. So, you know, mathematically, you see where I'm going with this, right? She's at least in her 60s, if not in her 70s. But she'll never admit her age. And so I always have this question for people, and I'm not being sexist here, but it's generally women. At what age do you start to admit you are your age? Here's what I mean by that. So when you're younger, you know, like a minor or whatever it is, you want to look older. You want to seem older, right? You don't ever have a 12 or 13-year-old who's like, no, I want to pass as 10. No, you always want to look older. You want to look like you're 16, 17, right? That's why in high school you see a lot of kids, you know, are dressing, whether it's provocatively or whatever, I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that it happens. And, I look at that and go, kids weren't like that when I was in school. I think kids were still wearing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirts and things in junior highs. It was a very different time. And then as you get older, you flip that around and then you want to be younger, right? You want to look younger. You want to, you don't want to look your age. And so that's where I've asked Bonnie, and she's notorious for not answering, as I said. So I say, Bon, at what age will you finally say to people? Because, like when you have people like Jane Fonda or even, Betty White or Martha Stewart, come forward, they're proudly in their 80s, right? I'm proudly 83, 84, or Betty White was almost 100. So there's some milestone birthday for a lot of people that makes the men go and say, I'm proud that I'm 75. I'm 60 and I feel, or 60 is, what is it? 60 is sexy, or sexy 60, whatever it is. Nifty at 50. Like, at what age? And Bonnie said she will never publicly, as she's actually even done it on this show. I think I've put her on the spot, and she'll never say the age. Off air, of course, me just sitting here, I'll just call her bullshit. I'll be like, seriously, Bonnie, like, the fact that I know how old you are and you still won't tell me, that's something in the head. That is something in the head, Bon. So for me, I'm 43, and I just said that already, but I have no problem with that. And again, maybe that's because I don't, and really, what does quote unquote 43 look like? Because when I see people, I was watching with my husband the other night, one of those A&E shows, can't remember, oh shit, what was it? Not 60 Days In. It was something where they go into one of the jails. You know what I mean, anyway. And so, you look at some of these people that it says that their age is, maybe late 20s or early 30s. And I just go, that's a hard-looking 32 years old. That's rough. That's a rough-looking 32-year-old. So I find myself doing that. And I've done that for probably about 10 years or so. I've always kind of looked to go, wow, this person tells me how old they are, or I hear how old somebody is, and I go and look at that and go, okay, I don't look that old. All right, so I'm okay. Maybe that's why I feel that way, right? If I did look, maybe if I'd gone bald early, if I had gray hair early, if, things that had happened, maybe I would feel differently. But fortunately, I haven't had any sort of, I'm going to knock wood on this, I haven't had any medical issues. I haven't had anything like that. So I want to know from you, what age did you start to embrace your age? Do you get what I mean? When you hit 40, were you confidently saying to people, I'm 40, look at me, I'm 40, or was it kind of like oh, don't ask me how old I am? Because the one thing that I hate is when people do how old do you think I am? Like, that's not even a fun game, right? Like, it's because you're basically wanting somebody to go younger, right? You want them to go lower so that it feeds your ego and it strokes you. Go, oh, okay, well, he didn't think that I was that old. At the same time, it ends up sort of becoming a joke when the person responds, right? Because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, she's at least in her 50s, but I'm going to go and say 39, right? Because you kind of you play along, go, we're not getting anywhere. Just tell me your fucking age. Like, seriously, if there's no... we had, I can't remember how did I know him? Was he doing work for us or something? And I just remember just kind of casually asking him, like, so how old you are? Or how old are you? And he just seemed, genuinely offended by that. And I thought, it came up in conversation though, right? Like, it's not something that was just out of nowhere. And how old are you? We were talking about whatever it was they were talking about, but like the look that he gave me, I just kind of thought, girl, get over yourself. Like, really? And by the way, he was somebody who was, I think, probably maybe mid-20s, not well into, late 20s, probably not even into his 30s yet at that point. So, I mean, like something like that, I'm sitting there going, you're having that reaction in your 20s to somebody? Like, really? Really now? So what age did you start to embrace and just go and say, yeah, you'll admit and I'll take it. What age was that? Send me an email, live, Live, at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. Because I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like I said, there's nothing that you can do to stop the passage of time. It's gonna be another. We're just tacking on another year every time that calendar. When people, I hate when people go and say another year around the sun or another year, however they say it. I just go like, oh my god. It's great that they're, and typically when people do that, it's that they're my last year in my 20s, and I don't really know exactly what people think is going to happen. Like I don't get why it's that, I'm saying goodbye to my 20s, I'm going into my 30s now. First of all, it's attention because you want people to go and say, oh my god, you don't look your age, oh my god, you look so good. That's a big part of it. Or at least you want a happy birthday from people. But again, so as somebody who's gone through, 20s and 30s and 40s, at no point when I was 39 in my head, at no point was anything saying, or was I saying to myself, this is the end, because it's exactly like the calendar flipping on New Year's. I don't know exactly what people think is like. It's so December 31st was whatever. I'm making this up. Was a Tuesday. Okay, great. Midnight rolls around. It's now Wednesday, but it's a different year. It's a different year, but it's still another Wednesday. It's still just technically the next day. Do you feel differently? Like, do you really? From December 31st to January 1st, that flip of a calendar, you feel like, oh, instantly it's a better year. Yeah, that dumpster fire of a year is done, and now here we go. No, it doesn't happen. That's not reality. So same thing with a birthday. When you go from, for some reason, again, people feel like 25 is also kind of a milestone birthday, a quarter of a century, whatever. Oh, like seriously, it's just another birthday, really. And so, yeah, when I turned 40, naturally you get all of the age jokes, right? Oh, old man, or, oh, you're looking old. Well, I don't look old, so that didn't bother me. Like, those jokes didn't, I don't know, you get the birthday cards, right? There's always going to be some kind of a joke about age once you hit a certain point, right? 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. And I'm kind of like, all right, I guess it's expected, but I don't know. Didn't really, like our accountant, Raylene, on my 40th birthday, she had dispatched a company, I don't know what you call it, not a party store, but like a joke store, like the kind of store that comes and they put like the pink flamingos on your front lawn and things like that. Is that just a party store? I don't know what you call it. A novelty store maybe would be the word. Thank you, Bon. So my accountant Raylene had done that on my birthday, and there's like the big sign about like, oh, Jeremy's 40 or whatever. And I was kind of just like, all right. I mean, it was a funny kind of a thing, right? To wake up and I live in a very good neighborhood. So I definitely was making calls going, how did she get into this neighborhood? How did people in the middle of the night get into our nice fancy neighborhood? We pay a hell of a lot of taxes. We need better security in this neighborhood. That's more what I was pissed about. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of like, yeah, sure, it was a joke, but I mean, it wasn't embarrassing to me. It's not, humiliating. In fact, I don't know that anybody has ever said, because I don't do that. How old do you think I am? I just don't do that. But when I will say something like, oh, well, I'm 43 or on my 40th birthday, I will kind of get a look from people and they will just say it unprompted. I never thought you were 40. That just seems like it's a genuine, I don't know if it's a compliment, but at least it's a general statement that wasn't asked for. I wasn't fishing for that. I'll just say it, without even, well, whatever. And so the age thing has just never been an issue for me. Now, we got to take a break, but coming up in the next segment, I want to talk about how, body changes and just how things kind of change in your world when you do hit those milestone birthdays like 40 and 50. And that's coming up on the Scribble right after this.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here on the Scribble. When it comes to, like men's health or men's fitness magazines and women's health and fitness magazines, you're constant, and I guess even, well, probably, I would say the internet maybe. I don't know how many people are reading magazines anymore, but you get what I'm saying is, there's the articles about aging in life and your body and just, whatever. And so you always kind of see these things about, your metabolism, your sex drive, your flexibility, your sleep patterns. Like, there's just so much stuff. And so the other day I was having a discussion with another man in his 40s, and it was just sort of a candid, casual conversation. And I was saying, like, I haven't really noticed any kind of physical changes in my body because, again, you'll hear about people, metabolism slows down as you get older or whatever. Well, I mean, I'm a water drinker. I've never had a sip of coffee in my life, despite owning a coffee company. We drink very rarely in our house, my husband and me. He's a fitness model too, so it's kind of like there's always that underlying, I'm with a gym and a health nut, so I kind of also have to keep things maintained. Maybe that's the motivation to do it, right? Land yourself a bodybuilder fitness model and they'll keep you in shape. But I was saying, like, I haven't really had, you have kind of the, the creaky knees, right? When you're going up the stairs and, your legs are, your bones are, whatever, are cracking, I guess would be the term. Ditto if you're, getting up and standing up, off the couch or, just things like that. And so I said, I haven't really noticed anything. A few years ago, I don't know if I was already in my 40s, but I mean, if I wasn't, I was very close to it. So let's just say it was at the 40-year mark. I had thrown my back out, and I was going up the stairs up to our bedroom, and, you go up like the first, I haven't counted, but, you go up the first like 10 stairs, and then there's the platform, and then you turn, and then you're going up the other, and then there's only like 4 or 5 stairs at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, so I had gone up the first, the 10, and then I got to the platform, and when I turned, for some reason, I put my hand on the, it's not a railing, but it's like the slope of the half wall, whatever you want to call it. So when I did that, and I normally don't do it, but when I did that, all of a sudden, I went down. Like, I went down to my knees, and it felt like somebody had, like, stabbed me from behind. Not that I've ever been stabbed from behind, but I'm just guessing that's what it feels like. And I had thrown my back out. And so, my husband wasn't, I don't remember where he was, if he was out of town or something, because it was late at night. We don't really usually go up to our bedroom, unless it's, bedroom stuff. So, I'll leave it at that. But, so it would have been at night then, because, the dogs were behind me, and then I just did it. But he wasn't home, because if he was, he absolutely would have come running and, helped me. So I was by myself. Maybe, he was probably out of town on work or something. And I just remember going, I can't move. Like, I can't even get down the stairs. What do I do? We don't have phones upstairs in our bedroom. Like, so, and I just had to almost do like a frog kind of a walk, just to kind of almost like crawl down the stairs to go back down to the main floor. So I wasn't sure if that was an age thing or if it was just one of those random fluke kind of a things, right? Do you can roll your ankle, or you can twist your ankle, or you can, wrench your shoulder, whatever. Like, that's not necessarily an age thing. It's just, it's just something happened, So I wasn't sure. Now, it's never happened again since. It's not like this is something that's continued on. So I wasn't sure, okay, this is my first, body change in my 40s, because it kind of had me laid up for about 2 or 3 days or so. It was, it wasn't just like put some ice on it and it's gone. I ended up getting my phone and I ordered, I don't know how many kinds of painkillers I ordered, had them delivered because I couldn't move, couldn't go anywhere. And, it was about 3 or 4 days. Maybe close to 4 days until I was, kind of real perfect again, ready to, able to walk. And so, and again, we walk our dogs all the time. We'll go for, 5 miles on good days. Like, it's, we're very an active couple. So then the man the guy I was talking to, he said, I've noticed about, metabolism where, eating some things now kind of, either, just stays in your body or just kind of affects you more than it would have when you were younger. So when he said that, I remembered when I had gone to, It was a fast food restaurant. I don't remember which one, wherever it was. I had fries. I ordered French fries. And I remember having a couple of them and thinking, these are too salty. And when you're younger, the more salt, the more sugar, the better. That, right? As a kid, you want more candy. Candy. Chips. Oh yeah, you can eat an entire bag of chips. But then this was, by the way, just a few months ago. So it's not like this was a long time ago. But so I was at least 42, if not 43 already. My body was going, ooh, too much salt. So then again, I'm sitting there going, is that an age thing? Maybe that is, right? Because I always think about my mom when we would have, so at a family function and, there's drinks or whatever, and I would bring some kind of like a flavored vodka or, a mixed sangria or something. Yeah, I always liked the fruity drinks, if you know what I mean. So sometimes I would say to my mom, well, have a sip, but try it. And she would always make this face and go, oh, that's too sweet. And same thing with desserts. So if somebody's having a birthday cake or whatever, and so she'd, oh, icing is too sweet. Oh, and I always remember that's just an old woman thing to say. That is just an old woman, right? And here I am, fast forward however many years, going, these fries are too salty. I didn't take them back. At least I didn't go that far. I didn't go and say, can I get some without salt? I ate them, whatever. But that's the first time I've had kind of a, I was going to say a reaction to food, not meaning allergic, but just like something in my head was like, ooh, this is, it's too much. And that's like a flick of a switch because, French fries, whatever. Who doesn't want French fries? I've never felt, and then but you start to kind of notice things. You go, yeah, there was too much grease on that pizza, or there was, that chicken was too greasy or too fatty or something, or the bacon, But yeah, the fries were too salty. And so I said to the guy, I'm like, your body tells you things though, right? If you just listen to it, you just sort of have to pay attention. When there's something different about the way your body reacts to something. So we were talking about food, going back and forth, and he was saying about, heartburn or whatever now, certain things that he used to really enjoy spicy foods, can't really anymore. And I said, I've never, really been into spicy things. But it was kind of like, yeah. And I said the same kind of a thing about drinking, where before I could polish off an entire bottle of vodka, in one night, in one sitting when I was a teenager with my friends, and go to the bar or whatever, and a bottle of wine, no problem, totally could polish off a bottle of wine. And then when I went it was with our producer Suzanne. I think I told this story on the show a couple weeks ago, but in a different context. I said, I had 2 drinks at dinner, and that was enough for me. It was enough. It was just kind of, they were good. It's not like they were bad. I wasn't drunk. But I was just kind of like, that's enough. Because you get to, your limits then at that point, right? I know that, any more than that, it's not going to be fun for me because I'm already enjoying this social moment with, a good friend, and I want to keep it that way, right? And so if I have more, then it's just going to be like, okay, well, she's, sober or whatever, and then here I am pounding back drink after drink after drink. Like, it's just kind of a weird, I'm going to ruin our time together. I'm going to ruin the fun, because now she's going to be like, oh, okay, well, I better get him home because, he doesn't know when to stop or whatever. So at the same time, like I said, my body is saying to me, that's enough. It's not, I don't want to feel bad tomorrow morning, or I don't want to even feel bad tonight, right? Because sometimes it'll hit you quicker. So I had 2 drinks. She had 1, I think. And, that was just enough for me. And then I was yawning. So this was a Saturday night. We got together at, I think it was 3 or, yeah, it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We went to the mall. We went to a bunch of different places, and then we went to the restaurant at, I think it was maybe 7:30 or so. And I had the 2 drinks, and we sat there. We chatted because, whatever. And by 9 o'clock, 9:30, I was already starting to yawn. I just thought, I was exhausted, and I had these 2 drinks. It was a good meal. Okay. Think back though to when you're in your mid-20s, late 20s, maybe early 30s, you're not even, I was home by, I think, 10:30 that night. You're going out at 10:30. You're going out at 11 o'clock. You're not coming in and yawning and going, I'm calling it a night at 10:30. No, it's the exact opposite. Now, again, though, part of that is your mindset, right? Because I'm going to the club and that's when everybody starts going there. I mean, I think back to those times when I was 18, 19. I was working in a bar. I was working at the door and I did coat check. And so, we would start at, I don't remember what time the bar opened, but it was always very dead until about 10 or 10:30. 11 o'clock seemed to kind of be the key time when it was, this is now when everybody's rolling in. Maybe we started at 8 or opened at 8. I don't recall, but I just remember it being completely empty for the first, 2-3 hours. You maybe had the person who kind of wanted to just enjoy a beer and not have the thumping dance music, right? They kind of just wanted to hang out, and then people would come in. So we would stay there. The bar would close at, I think it was about, I think it was 2 o'clock, and then like on holiday weekends, it would close at 3 o'clock. You were kind of allowed to stay open, an hour later on a long weekend. But then, so everybody, now the public is gone, and it's just us there, and we would, whoever, the bartenders would clean the bar, somebody would, mop the floor, right? You all kind of closed out your own station where you worked. And then we would just sit there and watch TV, or we would, play cards, or we would just have another drink. We would leave the bar because there were no windows to the outside world. We would leave and the sun was out. So it was now Sunday morning when we would be leaving the bar. You didn't feel tired. You weren't like, oh, I'm going to go home and sit. It's like you were ready to continue on your Sunday without even sort of stopping. Now, again, I was, 18, 19 years old. 18, 19, or maybe even about 20. The drinking age in Winnipeg at the time was 18, so people would go to the bar at 18 years old. And you just, it didn't faze you at all. You could drink, relatively unaffected. For the most part. Did I have my fair share of hangovers? Sure I did. I'm not making it sound like I didn't do any of that or have any of those experiences. I certainly did. But, fast forward, 20 years, and you listen to your body and go, I just wanted the one drink because it was nice to have a social, like, if you're a social drinker where you're just kind of, you're talking and then you're sipping, you're not even really paying attention that you're drinking, right? You're not really noticing it. That's kind of what happens at a certain point. When I watch shows like Jersey Shore, I realize that there's, quite a bit of scripting to it and that they're playing these characters, right? But I look at that and go, God, they're in their 40s, and you see somebody like Snooki or, whoever drinks a lot, Dina, and I can't think of the other names. Usually those two are the ones that are drunk, right? And I just, their parents, and I realize again, a big part of it's a put on that they're, but, that they're just going around in public like this, and they're, I gotta bedtime, and you're like, are you fucking 12 years old? Like, or you're 17 years old? Is this the first time? And I just, I don't know. Again, are they really drinking as much as it's being implied on the show? Maybe back in the day they were, but I mean, I don't know. It was anything for a paycheck, I guess, with those reality show people. But, whatever. So yeah, I just, that's something that never really appealed to me once I hit, mid 30s or maybe even just 30s period. I'm trying to think of the last time that I kind of got, drunk in the sense of not remembering the end of the night or being sick that night or the next morning. It's been such a long time. So anyway, take a break and we're going to continue talking about aging on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here on The Scribble. So, food and age, it's like, do they get along? Do you get, as I said, the guy that I was talking to was talking about heartburn. I fortunately have never experienced heartburn, so I don't really know what that's like. I know my dad for years did, especially when we were growing up and we were all living at home. I mean, my dad had, I don't know if like Rolaids or Tums, is that the same thing? I'm not quite sure, but I just remember him having these either rolls of them, like, remember like Lifesavers back in the day, like a roll of Lifesavers. So he would have that, not Lifesavers, but he would have like Tums or Rolaids, whatever it was called, in a roll is what I'm saying. And then he would have some in his pocket. He would have some in the kitchen cupboard. He would have some in the bathroom cupboard. He would have some maybe in my parents' bedroom. He would have some in the car. He would have some in his desk at work. And I remember thinking like, okay, dude, what? Like, there's a problem here. If you need to have this many in so many different places that it can strike at any time, and basically, I just remember thinking, oh my God, my dad has heartburn. Like, what is that? Is it from spicy foods? Is he just unhealthy? Like, what is it? So I don't know what heartburn feels like. And I'm fortunate, I guess, or also I just don't eat the kinds of things, that my dad does. But so going back to restaurants and then with Suzanne, and actually most of the staff, I think I've gone to the Pizza Hut buffet with all of them. They don't really have it very much anymore, but I would go to the Pizza Hut buffet, and I've always been kind of a smaller framed guy. And I think any person that I'd ever gone to the buffet with would always look at that and go, oh my God, I can't believe that he eats so much. Because, you just go up and you take slices of pizza. There'd be times where I would almost take like literally half of the pizza. I would basically just go, if it was slow or there were a lot of pizzas there, I would just go and, I'll take half of it. Nobody's eating this one, so, I'll swipe it. And I've heard from so many of my colleagues, Bonnie, I know exactly, Bonnie, Lisa, Raylene, Suzanne, Tim, well, Tim is a big buffet guy, but he's more not pizza buffet. But anyway, yeah, every one of them has gone and said, like, where's all the food going? Like, it doesn't even show. And so I've done that since I was in my teenage years. We would go from high school. I would go with my classmates to the Pizza Hut buffet. And then the one that was by my house in Winnipeg closed probably about, oh God, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I guess. I was the very last customer there, by the way. A guy that I went to high school with was a server there. And so he gave me the heads up because they were renovating the restaurant. And then when they were closing the restaurant for however many weeks and then reopening it, he said that when we're reopening, we're not having a sit-down restaurant anymore. So it's going to be takeout. Like it's going to be delivery and it's going to be takeout. There's no seats going to be in the restaurant anymore, and we're just going to have that. And so I just remember thinking, oh my God, that's the end of the Pizza Hut buffet. And again, something that I had gone to for a good 20 years or so. So he told me when the last day was. I made sure that I was the last customer at the Pizza Hut buffet. This is how sad my life was, or is, I guess. But that's a place where I would go. It would start at 11:30, would it start at 11 or 11:30? It would start at, I don't remember, probably 11. Okay, let's say it was 11, and then it would end at 2. And so I would go even with my brother or with my coworkers, and you would go for right when it started. Like that was when you would go because you wanted to beat the lunch rush, so you need to get your first couple rounds of the buffet in before everybody comes in. And then that's between 12 and 12:30 or 1 when everybody else is coming in. That's when you slow down, then you sit and talk, right? You kind of just let the food settle. And then when everybody's gone back to work or whatever it is, because I was the boss of our company, I was able to just stay out longer, as was my team. And as long as they paid the bill. So then between 1:30 and 2 or 1 o'clock and 2, that's when you also go in for your home stretch of even more. But that was something where I could go, and then we would be drinking Pepsi as well. So not only are you're just stuffing your face with pizza, now you're having the fizzy, burping drinks, right? Like Pepsi, 7-Up, what have you. And I would be able to be fine the rest of the afternoon. Like I would just be okay. Even though I just shoveled down. I don't know exactly how many. I don't know if they were putting medium pizzas or large pizzas. Like I don't know what the size was on the buffets, on the pizzas on the buffet. But I would say I probably had the equivalent of 2 or 3 medium pizzas, at least, when I would go to a buffet. You'd think. And so now if I tried that, I mean, we've actually sort of tried this when, like my husband and I, so I've lived in my house for 17 and a half years. He's been in my life for about 9 years. So I remember when I first would order pizza, I would get, you get like those combo offer, like, you get 3 pizzas for, 30 or whatever dollars. And so I would do that. I would throw the rest of them in the freezer. I wouldn't have them all in one sitting. And so we would do that now, and now, though, it's not 3 or 4 pizzas. And he's a big guy, too. He eats, just way more than I do. But even now, I'm kind of like, maybe just the 2 pizzas is a good combo to kind of get. Because the 4, that's just going to last, a week. And then I don't want to eat pizza now for the next week, really. And so, you dial it back and go, okay, well, maybe I'll just, and I've found that even though I might be hungry, I'm just stopping at half of the medium pizza sometimes, and that's okay. It's okay. Should I be worried though? Should I be worried and go, oh my, I can't slam back 3 medium pizzas in one sitting in my 40s? Oh dear. So other than that, I do enjoy a good buffet. I will eat, absolutely more than I should, but that's, like I said, your body tells you, okay, we've had enough, right? Or we're good for the rest of the night. And so I find that if I've eaten a big meal, so let's say I did a buffet, Saturday night, I could probably go until maybe even late Sunday night before I eat again, just because, it's still in your system. It's still percolating. It's still being digested or whatever. And then maybe it's also your brain saying to you, hey, we kind of overdid it last night. Let's just chill out today. And that's fine too. I think part of the issue, and this is, so when I was at that restaurant with Suzanne, like I was talking about, and she wakes up really early in the morning. And so I asked her, I said, she wakes up at 5 or 5:15, she said. I said, so do you eat breakfast though before you leave the house and come to work? And she said, most of the time she does, because she is on medication. So she kind of at least has something, whether it's a smoothie or, she'll take it with something. And then I said, okay, and then is the first time that you eat? She's not really a eating at her desk kind of a person, so I was kind of like, all right. So I said, it's the first time that you eat after that then, at noon. Like, do you eat at the traditional times, right? Breakfast when you wake up, lunch at noon, and then a dinner at, 5 or 6 or whatever time in the evening. And she said, yeah, generally I have 3 meals a day, because people know that I sleep in, and my first meal of the day will probably be maybe 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And sometimes we'll just eat the one meal all day with my husband. We don't, we'll go for, I guess if you're considering the first meal of the day to be breakfast, so I guess you would say that we're having breakfast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I mean, however you want to view it. And that's just enough for me. So I went through that whole time where, I wake up, eat breakfast, eat something in the morning before going to work. At lunchtime, eat something at lunch, because that's basically what we're told to do, right? You have 3 meals a day. And so that's where I was saying to Suzanne, like, I can just deal with one kind of, good meal that fills me up, and then I'm good. Maybe in the evening, like before bed or something, I might have a craving, for some cheese or for some crackers or something like that, but it's definitely not another meal. And, that's it. So I think that if you treat your body right, then you're okay. It takes care of you. Your body is saying, okay, wait, these are too salty. I'm going to feel like shit after. Well, listen to your body saying these are too salty. I'm not saying go to the counter and throw the fries at the employee and demand new ones. I mean, unless you want to be on that A&E show. But, it's kind of funny. So just to circle back to the original topic, like with aging, I haven't really noticed any change in my overall, aches and pains or this and that. Do I have maybe a less tolerance for, salt or whatever? Sure. But I think that that's your body going and saying, hey, I'm looking out for you, big guy, right? We don't want to feel bad after this meal. So tell me what your thought, like, how old are you, and what did you, if you are in your 40s, like, was there a certain age when you kind of noticed a bunch of things changing, or was it gradual? Like, what am I in for here? And I realize that men and women's bodies are different, so it's not going to be the same for everybody. But definitely send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter @The Scribble Show and @thescribbleshow.com.
All right, we're out of time. But again, feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address, live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. I will talk to you all same time, same place next week on The Scribble. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @thescribbleshow. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real